Hi Facebook, my name is Kimberly Moeller. I'm the publicity chair for NATS, and we're going to be going live soon with our Messa di Voce event. Stay tuned. Okay, so Facebook Live, this is Dr. Sarah Lopez, and she'll be talking about Messa di Voce. Please elaborate on all of that.
Well, okay, here we are. Whoa, you're spread out. You can move there now. And I'll come back here. Oh, will I be out of range?
Oh, I'll check.
Sorry. All right, so we don't want to make technology any part of this. Sorry. It's just like when we're in an audience or when we're performing for an audience, either way, there's a sacred space and you know which world you live in, right? Now the only problem is those people out there aren't vibrating with us. That's the secret of what the difference is between technological image and our own. So we are in the technological era. We're in it. We're going to the moon. We're on the same rocket. So what are we going to take with us to be human? To be beautiful singers? What are we going to do? So we have to be conscious. This is no different than when Adam and Eve went out of the garden. They forgot one rule. God said, oh, your punishment is you have to remember me. And that's our punishment for inventing such technology that gives us the images, and thank God it is yet not a creative entity. Because then we're in trouble. But here we are as artists, as singers, as human beings who love music, who share love and vibration and hope and beauty and sunlight and nature. And so we have to embrace that. We have to become it. We have to live it. And so that's why I love going back to the way they taught singing 200-300 years ago, when it was the highest technology there was. The castrati. They really were able to develop singing in the Baroque era so that they could use this instrument, this technology, which is still the highest technology there is. Problem is we don't know enough about it. We don't know how to control it because we can't do it directly. So by going back to the treatises, and I'm particularly going to do Dominique, I'm not saying it right, Domenico, I think is his name, Corri, C-O-R-R-I. I said it wrong in the prelude to this. I said Cravelli, who's a colleague of his, or a contemporary of his, and I used some of his exercises. But Corri really was a very special case, and the treatise that I have, it was interesting to me when I looked up on Wikipedia and all that about bel canto, about Messa di Voce, that they listed the treatise that I have. And as far as I know, the only place you can get it is on microfiche in the library in San Francisco. There may be another copy somewhere in Europe or something, I don't know. But the researcher did know about this. And this is page 14 in that treatise. So what I'm giving you, you cannot get easily. And you're not supposed to reproduce it. But you're not reproducing it, you're going to embody it, and you're going to sing with these principles in mind. So the reason I like to do this is because Messa di Voce has come through history as a technique, is one of the first and one of the hardest techniques of warming the voice up since they started studying singing back in the 1700s, 18th century. So interestingly, Corri in the treatise says Messa di Voce means to prepare the voice for singing. Now, nowadays, you know, we get efficient and we make things so that they're faster and easier. Whoops, what happened to my, oh, I'm too efficient, I put it away already. This is what you would see if you were going to study Messa di Voce. I know Dr. Longalder's been using that a lot because it's really revered as a technique. You cannot sing beautifully without Messa di Voce. So you'll see the thing you have, the picture you have on Corey's is how they taught Messa di Voce. Randall, would you read a little bit of what that says?
Up here? Yep. Begin with a delicate softness, increasing the tone to its loudest degree and diminishing it to the same point of softness with which you begin.
Right. So soft to loud to soft. However, if you look at the pictures worth 1,000 words, right? He, I'm going to say he or she, because in those days it could be either. No, in those days it would be a man for sure. But anyway, hand on the heart. The heart. You know your vocal cords do not work unless your heart is in it. Vagus nerve, periaqueductal gray matter, only input there nerve-wise to the brain is from the heart. So you wouldn't say anything unless you wanted to. So you have to want to say the story that you're singing. And it's very much like acting, where you really have to use your imagination or another character on stage. The images that you're singing about you have to tell a story, and you have to see it with your eyes. You have to feel it with all of your senses, and then respond to it. So there's a catalyst, the lyrics, the images, the tone, the whole song as some vehicle of some abstract emotion. And that's what you get in the middle of. I talk about Messa di Voce as being in the middle of the voice. But because of science, I'll ask the class, or I'll ask all of you, where is the voice? Where is it? Let's hear all the wrong answers. Come on. Volunteer. Where is the voice? Come on, be brave. There's no right or wrong.
Out here.
You are so right.
That's because you told me.
Saved by Terry. It's in the room. It's in the room. We speak and sing in the overtones. So being in the middle of the voice doesn't mean that we are producing it. It means that it's all around us. And we are responding to it, sensing it, feeling it, letting it inspire us. It's like a hub or a cove for the Little Mermaid, you know? So, that's very important. What else does Corey say?
Let's see. The swelling and dying of the voice, Messa di Voce, the soul of music. These accords...
Okay, now you are reading that like facts.
Yes.
But they are not. Thank you, Kimberly. I'm sorry, too.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm really wanting you all to leave here today being in the middle of the voice. And I all want you to know that the first part of that is to be emotional, to be visual, to take the time it takes. Part of bel canto singing is they did a lot of rubato. They would hold the appoggiaturas as long as they had feeling for what they were singing. And then they would pay it back. But, so there's a lot of feeling, sensing that has to go into this. So when I say soul, the soul of singing, very important, okay? Now, I'm going to play some of these. Let me see, there was a couple things I was going to say. Karen Bruson, I think that's her name, she wrote I meant to grab it, and I couldn't find it quickly. A recent book that talks about the evolving voice in a lifetime. And apparently, children cannot do Messa di Voce. Now, I'm going to not agree with her, because I've had the best Messa di Voces from children, because they are not thinking of themselves at all. And when you do Messa di Voce, you must completely just relate to, be, see, whatever it is you're involved with, what you're trying to communicate with. I meant to say, I am communicating to you right now, I'm talking to you in Messa di Voce. How am I doing that? What is the indication of that? What do you think? Some of my students know. Go ahead, Unicorn. What does my voice reflect?
Oh, you're feeling.
Yes, emotion. And do you know that emotion takes 2.5 to 3 seconds for 1 second? The present moment is that long. You know why? Because it takes that long for sound to travel from the top of the head to the feet. And we are now going to be singing with our whole instrument, which is our body. And we want to vibrate and connect to and ring the bones of the people in the audience, of the people we're singing with. And it's going to take that long. Now, marketing people know this, or should, Madison Avenue. And that's the little bubbles of emotion that you're going to get. Time, I don't know what all the new names are, but these little nuggets of shapes, of images, of things like that. If they want it subliminal, it's fast. But we, because the earth sped up, because we've sped up, we're only going in our heads. And so that you were not, you're trained. We are being inadvertently conditioned. So that's why we have to be conscious of when we do it and when we don't, because obviously we have to survive. The good thing is that when you're a good musician and you sing well, there are many levels of time going on. You can be singing the beginning of here and you're already looking ahead over there, and you can whip over here, meanwhile the voice is going, la. You know this. So all I'm trying to say is we need to have heart. Okay? So, you want to try again, or should I let someone else?
I would love to try again.
Oh, I love it! Great.
Same phrase?
Hey,
Yeah?
sure.
Okay. The swelling and dying of the voice. Messa di Voce, the soul of music.
Okay, so now I'll say what this part here. So, I'm going to play some arpeggiated chords. However, they call them accords. Accords. What does it mean to be in accordance with something?
Oh, interesting. Like-minded.
Yes, with. And so, in other words, and
these notes are hugging each other. They're all.
And they're not
In
even
accord.
linear. They're not linear. I mean, it's like a pool with harmonics, and it's very sensual. It's important. So what happens is your ear controls everything. You know that. And so I'm going to play these accords, and I'm going to have you stand up and get your alignment, your strings. Everybody do a yawn sigh. You know how to do that? All right. And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to roll these chords and just open your whole being, your body, listen to it. Now, what I want you to do, we're going to sing ah. You notice here, ah, but it's the words right here. When I sang, I would sing, and I didn't know I was singing. I was talking or telling a story. You okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to come over here?
Sure.
Then I don't have my back to you. You can see me better. Okay. So, see something. You can be something literal. Have a thought. Oh, I can't wait for the food. or see a sunset or a butterfly. But you want to look at something, think about something. Doesn't have to be long, but you're going to relate to, respond to how it changes. Okay? So I'm going to play the accord, and you can do it 1 or 2 times, and then the breath goes first, and the voice will alight onto your thought. Ah, okay? So here's what I do. Just listen. Just let it. You're in the pool of the sound. And then the breath goes, and see it, love it. Watch that is where my body feels what everybody else's body is doing. Okay, so not everybody. I can't identify who it was that is in this area. And your ribs went in. So I'm going more for the overtones like classical singing right now. We'll talk about bel canto. I want to do that with you too. You can put in your, not bel canto, belting, sorry. Oh. Because you still have to have overtones. Not as many, but it's different, but we still, so we'll compare notes. I'll learn from you there. Okay, so you did very well, but just be sure that you're continuing to pull the strings here on the lats and pecs, or that you're lengthening, lifting, whatever your thought is, to keep this doing the work. And always opposition, forward and back, down and up. Okay, let's try the next one. Watch it go, nothing ever comes back. Not the voice, not the monkeys back here.
No.
It's okay. So remember, Messa di Voce to cori meant preparing the voice to swell. So you're not only just listening and receiving, waiting for the computer or the image to do it. You have to know, be creative. You have to know what am I seeing? Be curious, be involved. And then there's enough of it that you can alight onto it and be involved. And you're doing very well with the cutoff, because we want the pianissimo, the softest, to be the most intense. You know, it's like your lover is on a plane going off. So, you always have to stay back. There's always opposition. All right, you guys are good, all of you. I love what you're doing. Keep the eyes open. Look at it. Keep it intense. Very good. Don't feel like you have to be in a choir and do it with everybody. Be individual. Be involved. That's the thing that I was wanting to keep in mind with this whole, this is the first time I've ever streamed anything and had people watching. But my whole life I've been performing with people watching. As I said, the only difference is there's no resonance. We as performers can feel the audience. It's an art world that we really engage with between the composer, lyricist, poet, our interpretation of that, and then our delivery with the audience, with that. And it's it's kind of like when pilots would take the plane up to the edge of where the engine would begin to stall. I remember I did a John Cage piece when I was at UCSD based on silence. And they said, they were long silence, more than a minute. And they were like, how did you have us on the edge of our seats? I said, well, I was watching a movie. But I could feel them. I could feel them. And so that's where I want you to stay with the feeling of who's here. Quantum physics is that if someone's watching, it changes the whole dynamics. So we have to, in a sense, forget it. Okay, we're in this art world here. Are you feeling that?
I just needed to rest.
Okay. All right. So, let's see. I'm going to do something else. So we could go on, but you follow how to do it. You did very well. I'm going to have you experience, in a sense, the non-harmonic tones, the appoggiatura, and experience how the ear tunes and nuzzles into the exact right spot in the harmonic context. This I got from an old member of Nat's, Beverly Ogden, and she's the one who went to San Francisco and got this treatise, and together we did this some 25 years ago. But she's just wonderful, and I forgot what I was saying. I was about to say something. Oh, the harmonics. Okay. So every pitch has 100 cents in it. You know that increments of change. And according to the harmonic context, Roxanne, could you close or open the curtains, you know, the sliding glass because the wind's moving them. Thank you. So depending on the harmony, the ear will automatically nuzzle into the best tuning of that. This is what happens with like American Indian. I did my dissertation on lullabies and all these different ones. A lot of bent notes, the blues, these bent notes. We all do it all the time. Barbra Streisand at the end of Evergreen. She's not holding any note a long time. The harmonies are holding her up. So I'm going to play some chord changes while you hold one pitch. You can do the Messa di Voce, but it's just mainly to hold the pitch. And then just do that and just see what happens, okay? Let's see, let's do it a little higher. That's a hard note. So just go. So what did you experience?
Oh, how badly I wanted to follow those changes. And how partially I did.
Yeah.
Kimberly, you were surprised.
I was just surprised at how it made me feel as I was
How did it make you
experiencing.
feel?
It's exactly like that. It pulled my ear to wanting to swell more, but I could also break away from it and
Reject it?
it.
See, and that's the nature of non-harmonic tones. Do you remember Finding Nemo? And the turtles, they're going down the current, and the little turtles see another current next to them, they're like, oh boy! So what does that mean? This other current is strong enough to provide a wall. And they would go up and see, again, that limit, and they would see how much they could lean without getting sucked up into it, and then come back in. And that's how the ears relate to harmony.
It feels like it relates quite a bit to tempo as well. I mean the feeling when you are following a conductor and you're seeing up, down, fast, and then
you stay back.
And you stay back, or you're moving through it the way you meant when you have the full of the orchestra.
Absolutely.
With you.
Very important. Very important. I'm having all these thoughts, but so the appoggiatura, the leaning note, that's what we're leaning on. But you have to go straight ahead, and you reject that. And that holds you up. It's like leaning on your love. You know, someone who's different. Yeah. Oh. And this is actually a Humboldt system where two entities combine but don't blend. And okay, and then you can have an infinite amount of possibilities. So when you're with that conductor, you know, and he's doing this, you stay back, you say, okay, I see you. I see you. And then you go around here and you pull. This is for those of you who are singing with a pianist. You have to know how to get them to do your tempo. Maybe they didn't start out that way, you know. So you just pull the reins in and you're with them, but you're saying, no, we're going my way. So you hold on to the harmonic. So the harmonic tones are the chord in the seventh. Do, mi, sol, ti. Okay? And the non are re. It's like if you throw a rock in a pond that has the rings of those overtones. Rock over here, different, and then they clash. They don't cancel each other out, they push them back the other way. So I'm just sort of giving you the idea, the middle of the voice, there's so much more the voice can do for you. When you get in the middle of it like that, then all of a sudden you're able to be creative, you're able to sing. Okay, so now how do we do this with phrasing? I know this is what Dr. Longager's doing in the choir, because you have, so tell me what you're learning.
Well, what she does is
Go ahead, sit down. Yeah.
beautiful phrasing. It's the vowel shaping. It's how do I explain
Well, see,
that?
you're in a choir,
Yes,
so it's a little different, because you all have to have the same vowel.
exactly. We have to have the same vowel tones, the same phrasing, because we're supposed to be one voice.
But if you were a school of fish, you all would be individual, you would be swimming together. So you want to be sure that you are maintaining what Kimberly brought here is enough of your own autonomy
Exactly.
and your support, you know, and your spin, you know, and yeah, good. So let's do it with a phrase. I got out the song. Let me see if it's going to come up. I'm not getting my YouTube up here. I was going to do Frank Sinatra's Get Happy. So we could all just sing and get happy. See, it says not connected to the internet. Who's good with the internet over here?
Are you on your Wi-Fi?
It says I'm on Wi-Fi. It's new. I just went to Spectrum. And that's 5G usually works well. I can do it Verizon. You really understand.
Would you like to do that? Yeah. Oh, you can have reading glasses.
So have you done anything with Messa di Voce, or what I'm talking about? Not directly.
I've
You
done
sing it.
exercises. I've done it in lessons, of course, when I was studying.
Yeah, your Wi-Fi is right. Oh yeah, you are connected now. See?
Well, that was there all the time, and it wouldn't, sorry.
Okay, let's go back. I don't use an iPad, I use a
Okay.
Samsung, so let's see if it. Yeah, you're connected.
Well, that's Verizon, though. It's
But
not
that's
the
your-
Wi-Fi. No, the Wi-Fi is a circle. So
Okay.
I'll cancel the Wi-Fi, and
Okay.
we'll just use Verizon. Wait, no, wait. Wi-Fi, how do I turn on?
Anybody need any water?
Oh, I can just.
We have like ice water or?
No, don't give them ice water. Just a bottled water. Because that, you know, we don't want to stiffen the vocal.
I always think of Judy Garland when I hear this song.
Oh, you do?
She did it in Summer Stock.
No, I saw it, but
Yeah.
she's not very legato in it.
No, she's not. She's
No.
real.
And I picked Frank
country.
because
Thank
he's
you.
really using his
Yeah.
soul
He does.
and his body.
That's what I was gonna say is
Oh,
the
no,
way
yes.
that I've learned Messa di Voce has felt rather mathematical.
Oh, well, no, we need to know each other's way. We're doing the same thing from different points. So please.
So this is really interesting to really
To go
put
back.
heart into it and hear about all of the.
So how
history.
would you do it scientifically?
I would count, just
Oh, you
divide
count.
up, you know.
So, but what
Count 1, 2, 3,
motivates your
Math.
voice to do that, though? See, the kids nowadays, they don't have that imagination. They're waiting for the computer
Yes.
to
They can't create
provide
it.
it.
They can't create it.
They don't have an imagination. And they're scared to. They're really scared. So that's partially why I've said we gotta get them out of that. We've gotta get them back to being human, really. So you're young enough, old enough. You're old enough. You're exactly right. No,
Where you should
because, you know, it was not until the late 80s that we got it. So the point is, you played outside, and some kids do, but still the culture and that interface. Yesterday I was at Laguna waiting for ice cream and seeing the family there, and the girls watching the wheels on the bus go around, and I'm like, her dad's sitting there, and I'm like, you guys, don't do that. They had a good family, but still, I just hate to see addiction to, relating to, bonding to an inanimate object. So we've got to keep it alive. I'm looking for. I wanted to also go around and have people introduce themselves. I didn't do that. Would you like to do that first? And talk about maybe what you want to know more about, what we're talking about, Messa di Voce, or what you do with singing, or how you want to get better. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Well, are you singing?
No, I'm not a singer.
But you have to sing.
I'm observing.
No
I'm here by
observers.
son.
Okay, I hope you were standing up and singing. I hope so. Go ahead.
Okay. So my name is Philip. I'm a voice student of Jennifer Patterson, and I'm actually.
She's watching. He's looking
yes,
at the camera.
she said she would be watching, so I had to give her a plug. Anyways, I'm actually a software engineer by trade, but about a year ago, I got motivated to try to learn how to sing better in church, and so I thought this would be a nice way to learn more about singing.
So have you learned something today?
Oh yeah, I've learned a lot already, especially, it's real, because I thought that, I learned a little bit about, like bel canto, and it seemed, there's a lot of technical aspects, but it's interesting that's very emotional about the art as well.
Mm-hmm. Good, thank you.
Great. Do I have to stand? Can I just lean forward?
You can lean.
I'm Randall Eames. I am a musical theater performer and teacher, and I didn't actually know much about the phrase Messa di Voce.
It's still kind of mysterious.
Yeah.
No, a lot of this is very mysterious. And what excuse me, I'm interrupting
you. Yeah, no, you're good.
But what I was starting to show you was, this is about 200 years, 150 years ago, this is what you see for Messa di Voce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
you see.
familiar with.
Just
Yes,
a note,
exactly.
fermata, crescendo, decrescendo.
That's
Yep.
How do you do that? Okay, I did it.
that's why I said it felt mathematical.
But the thing is,
Count
it's not inspired. It's not. It's an art world. It's got to be triadic. It's other. You're connecting something, and it's a catalyst to create this space here. And where the kids are today is they're really thinking. Ever since Nike said, "Just do it." It's in me. Oh, and I do tomatis work with the ear. No, what am I confusing tomatis? Alexander, I do that, but Alexander, Matthias Alexander did the postural stuff. And he was a Shakespearean actor who ruined his voice by doing,
Which is what I was just gonna comment on.
Sorry, okay.
Yeah, no, it's very much Alexander acting. This is more acting.
Absolutely.
And speaks my language.
Yes, it has to. Because we are acting.
Yeah.
It's imaginal.
Mm-hmm.
And we're creating an art world. It is art.
Yeah.
It's not information.
Yeah.
It's a story. It's our life. All right. So Randall, thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Kimberly Moeller. I'm a voice teacher in La Mesa, and also a singing actress. I'm running a cabaret right now with Randall's help. All about going from my opera world into becoming an actress.
Who is that musical theater that I love? Kelly.
O'Hara?
Yeah.
Kelly O'Hara.
Did you hear her when she was here recently?
No,
Oh,
I didn't make it to see her.
I just adore.
I saw her in Bridges
Oh.
of Medicine County.
Uh-huh. So you have seen her.
Oh yeah, I'm so.
But she has the same story that you're telling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Although she
What's the
sticks
opposite?
primarily to
Legit.
more legit
Broadway.
stuff. Yes.
It's more satisfying. Mamie doesn't, well, she gets paid well, but, but I mean, there's not as many jobs now, I think, for the legit as there are for musical theater is the opera, what opera used to be when I was young. That's what I feel. I went to see Hello Dolly at Seagramstrom in Orange County, and I was sitting in the first balcony. I feel like with the whole troup's best friends, you know, it's like, and they were like, oh yeah, you know, it was so exciting to be with that much enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And I just thought, this feels like it used to feel when I'm old, you know, the opera stars would come.
Well, I sort of wish I lived in that era as well, because I would love to have seen Beverly Sills perform, or you know, I have gotten to see a few of
the singers who are coming out now are great.
A lot.
This is where I was excited.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, we're getting off topic here. But no, when Kimberly and there's a couple other younger people who've come here who have had like spectacular, you know, careers really, even though they weren't long-lived or whatever, but they're bringing the old and the new, and it's like science, or anytime there's a new technology, it takes 50 years for it to get into the hands of the artists. And I feel like we're almost there, and that's what I feel when you came aboard, and Nicolette, and I'm starting to feel like, oh, it's getting human, it's starting to breathe, it's like science and the bel canto. I just feel it. So you're not too late.
Oh, good.
You're just right. So what have you gotten from this today?
I really love these ideas that we're living through voice. We're not puppets to tell a story. We're living through that experience. It is a story. Every little element of this Messa di Voce. I'm really interested in that humanity that you're describing about it, because like I said, it's been a formula that I haven't really understood through most of my study. I understand.
You know, but I can tell you're a person. As a person, you get into a role and you really believe it. That's all it is. It's like the Pied Piper. People will follow you if you really see it, if you really feel, breathe, smell. And you do that. I can tell. Whether you approached it.
I'm continuing to, you know, learn that about myself as an actor. And, you know, coming from opera, I guess I always wanted more acting in my opera study, and this is a lovely way to get into that, to see that, manifest it.
Yes. Good. All right.
Thank you.
My name is Lisa. I'm trying to learn to sing better in my church choir.
Lisa just took her first lesson with me the
Awesome.
other day.
Oh.
Which
Yeah.
church choir?
Westminster Presbyterian.
Oh, great.
Thank you, Lisa. And Carrie's her husband.
Yes. Lisa talked me into joining the church choir with her. I have sung plenty of songs in my life, but I've never been a singer. I actually play a saxophone.
He's a very good musician. That's how he knows so much.
So is she, by the way.
Ah.
So is she. And I'm looking at this, and we ran over this Wednesday. We ran over this page and worked on it. And it actually, the time that I spent with you Wednesday made a huge difference in how things went for me at church this morning. Because I found my voice. And as long as it lasted, which it didn't last all the way.
Right, no, it's
But
hard.
I managed to actually sing.
Yay.
I was being a singer. I was feeling. I was putting out sounds and beautiful.
Long phrases.
And then, well, anyway, I got tired. I'll get tougher by and by, I suppose.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear it. Leslie.
I'm Leslie Brazier. My day job is I am the CFO of a major construction firm.
Wow.
My night job is, right now I'm singing, Roxanne and I sing together at Maricosta College with Dr. Arlie Loninger. And I've been singing well over 40 years. mostly classical, a lot of Broadway, way back in the Broadway musical. And I actually majored in theater arts with a minor in classical vocal music at SDSU, and then went a completely different route and got my degree in business administration, an emphasis in accounting and finance. So it's kind of like I live in two different worlds. I live in the world of analysis, financial statement preparation, presenting to a bank to get loans for a company and so forth. And then the other half of my brain lives in music.
But that's a great balance.
It's a great balance.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
So I have always been interested in Messa di Voce and just wanted to see how you approached it.
Well, you kept nodding. I feel your resonance. I could tell you knew these things.
Yes, but I like to hear what different vocal instructors have to say about it. I sang at Escondido Center for the Arts for about 4 years with Dr. Joe Stanford, so I've done a lot of work over there with the Escondido Choral Arts Foundation.
Wonderful.
And I just love, I love music. I love all kinds of music.
Yes, I do too.
And that's why I think it's really interesting. You can take this technique and you can apply it to just about any type of music.
In the article on Wikipedia, they mentioned Beyonce, Whitney Houston. I could tell you all sorts of Celine Dion. They all sing Messa di Voce. And that's kind of where the voice has a life of its own.
Yeah.
It's miraculous because you're really playing with the ornaments. You're playing with letting the voice take you, and it's a wonderful skill. It's so delightful. I trained Tristan Prettyman, who is, do you know her?
I've heard of her.
She was engaged to Jason Mraz, and she was kind of pre-Jewel, and then everybody stole her style. But she was doing these bel canto exercises, but singing this sort of breathy pop kind of thing. And her mom would go, "Why are you singing opera?" But she loved it. Everybody, I know I have rock singers doing this. It's because it's natural. It's really natural. Kunikorn, and then we'll get to singing.
Kunikorn Harris. I'm also a software engineer by trade. I like to sing, but what I find fascinating, having just started taking lessons with Sarah, is how much better it would, I find myself singing better when I don't try to listen.
Feeling.
Yep.
Feeling, seeing, trusting. Yeah. Imagining, creating. All right, well, let's get happy. Stand up. Hey, ad lib, he does.
Okay.
Oh, I've got to turn the speaker on.
Who is this song by, Randall?
You're a fine guest from Nikki likes
Harold Arlen. I said, who is this song by?
It's by Harold Arlen.
You said Harold Arlen, actually.
Oh. Okay. So just do your own thing.
Forget your troubles,
Come on, get happy.
chase all your cares away. Sing hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day. The sun is shining, come on, get happy. The Lord is waiting to take your hand. Hallelujah, come on, get happy. We're going to the promised land. We're heading across the river, your sins away in time. It's all so peaceful on the other side. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. Better chase all your cares away. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day.
Okay, I'm going to pause it here for a second. All right, so let's apply Messa di Voce to this.
Okay.
You have to know what you're saying. And you have to have intent. And you have to beeline to the next thought. So if you take a moment, which are the important destination words? Trouble. Trouble.
Trouble.
Happy.
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 Yep.
Chase.
Chase.
Away.
Away.
Go ahead. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Come on, get happy.
Get
Ready
ready.
for the
Judgment Day. Okay, so those, you're kind of underneath it, and you're just talking. Forget your troubles, come on. Now, you have to know to get the support behind that. Now, this is more your style of singing, but it used to be mine, but anyway. But you can know what you're going to say. See who you're talking to. Know the situation you're in. Maybe you're looking in the mirror. I don't know. But so try it again, and we'll try to you can keep the pulse like you're saying, the conductor, but you can go all over the place. And you can take different notes and different words. Doesn't matter. Let's try it again. You're already preparing the Messa di Voce. Ready?
Forget your troubles, come on, be happy. You're gonna chase all your cares away. Sing hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day. The sun is shining, come on, get happy. The Lord is waiting to take your hand. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. We're going to the promised land. We're heading across the river, wash your sins away in the tide. It's all so peaceful on the other side. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You better chase all your cares away. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day.
Don't follow the voice up there. I hear the little notes going, ah, don't listen to your mouth. Keep it down. Keep your smile, your high cheekbones. I don't know where it goes. It's too breaking through here. But it'll come back in about. So, just start back again.
Forget your troubles and just get happy. Chase all your cares away. Sing hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day. The sun is shining, come on, get happy. The Lord is waiting to take your hand. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day. We're heading across the river, wash your sins away in tide. It's all so peaceful on the other side. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You better chase all your cares away. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day. Get your troubles, come on, get happy. Get your troubles, come on, get happy. Get your troubles, come on, get happy.
Yeah, that other out there might deliver something. Don't close down yet. Improvise. Okay, good. Well, did you have anything you wanted to say or add, or you had a song, or?
I feel like we've covered what we need to in the Messa di Voce. I'd love to, do a whole session on the belt Messa di Voce.
Well, then you should.
Which Mary has, of course, covered during Skateboarding. But I love her exercises.
Oh yeah, I use them all the time.
Yeah.
They're very good, the way she mixes the modes and gets it all.
Yeah, I'm interested to apply these ideas to that.
Well, we're all on the same boat.
Yeah.
So we should keep it going. Don't you find it's much more fun sharing and being together? Yeah? What do you think, guys? That's all we've got. We're going to get food. She's going to show you what you're missing.
Okay.
So, thank you so much. And feel free to ask me. Oh.